Good morning, everyone. My name is Hannah Powell, and I'll be talking on the topic learning styles. Every child has a different learning style and pace. Every child is unique, not only capable of learning, but also capable of succeeding. And that's a quote from Robert John Meehan. All of us learn through our senses. Our brain processes information provided by our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and touch sensories. We all possess a preferred learning style of perceiving ideas and information. This is a cartoon quote, and it's entitled Knowledge. And the more we understand ourselves and our mode of learning, the better equipped we will be to teach others. And here's this cartoonist and with the teacher and the student, and what the student is saying here to this teacher. As we start our new school year, Mr. Simmet, I just want you to know that I'm an abstract sequential learning, and trust that you would conduct yourself accordingly. What does that mean? A sequential learner, a sequential abstract learner is a dominant thinking style person, and they like to work alone and thrive in a stimulating environment that allows them to explore a subject in detail. Not at all times you can detect a student's learning style when you just see the student. It takes observation. So this is what the student is saying to the teacher. Before you observe me, I'm basically telling you what kind of student I am. So please conduct yourself accordingly. This is a scenario. Announce a Bible quiz that includes figuring out a coded message, and you'll immediately have Sarah's attention. But you have lost Harry, who shrunk into his chair. However, if you ask volunteer to role play the Bible story in pantomime, guess what? You'll have Janice, who can hardly contain herself. Here I see three different types of learners. Children differ in the way they learn, and having an understanding how children learn can help Sabbath school teachers engage children in learning for spiritual growth, which will who can impact them for eternity. What are learning styles? Learning styles is a person's preferred way to learn, to process information and deal with life. Your learning style can affect the way you solve problems, how you relate to other people, and how you teach. Whether learning or teaching, you'll feel most comfortable using your preferred learning style. One of the best benefits of knowing and using all learning styles is that we are more able to reach all of God's children. The ways we learn. It is said that 20% of people are auditory learners, 20% are visual learners, 40% are kinesthetic learners or tactile learners. Avoid temptation of only using one method that appeals to your own learning style. Remember, not all students learn the same way. So let's look at visual learners. Who are they? Visual learners approach learning through their eyes. They like to look at pictures that helps them to understand and remember. They visualize a Bible event, seeing the scene in action. As the story is read or told, helps it become a permanent memory. Seeing the scene in their mind, they remember what it looks like. So a visual learner will say something like, guess what I saw? It looks like this, it looks like that. or show me. Ways to teach visual learners. Can paint a word picture when you speak without visual aids. Provide details like colors, shape, size. Use felts or pictures to illustrate a story. Object lessons are a great way to teach them. Dramatization like skits, diagrams, timelines, map, charts, etc. Auditory learners, who are they? They depend on hearing and speaking as a main way of learning. They generally hear things once or twice and remembers. Their mental cassette tapes are generally long enough to remember everything they need to know, and they generally have good verbalization skills. How do we engage them? For these learners, we structure the classroom to minimize noise and distraction, brainstorming ideas, choral reading or responsive reading, guided discussion in which they answer questions, skit where they have a speaking part, and listening games as well as storytelling or give a talk. Kinesthetic learners, who are they? Yes, they like to move, they like to touch, they're hands-on people or the muscle people. This is where the physical and the mental team up to help this child learn to give meaning and purpose to knowledge. This learner handles, create, take apart something while the brain is processing the information and remembering it. These learners, they enjoy writing, coloring, pasting, cutting. Many have trouble following directions and become restless and inattentive. What they say and ways to engage them. May I play with it? May I touch it? Let me examine it. I made this. Craft project includes mobiles, modeling, and clay. With clay, balloon art. They like to work with collages and cut and paste. Posters they can make in groups. Written tests, written reports, jigsaw puzzles, and other manipulatives. Research, the Bible and concordance, dictionary atlases. And guess what? Jesus used many things in nature to engage his audience. So when you're dealing with learners, try to employ all resources that you can find to engage your audience. Experimental learners, who are they? Students who love to participate in practical real-life situations. They use combination of learning modes to achieve something practical. They get satisfaction from fixing things without help. An example, if the class is doing a skit, they're the ones who pull the curtains, they operate the sound systems, make and sell tickets, and maybe even direct the play. We should seek to make learning both experiential and multisensory in approach as much as possible. Movement, this is another type of learning. Sometimes you may be in a classroom and you notice that the child is so relaxed, not participating, and you're wondering, why is this child not participating? What's going on? Am I not reaching this child? You may not, because you have not tapped into that child's learning style, which is movement. Therefore, some children learn through music. You typically use larger hand gesture and other body language to communicate. You probably don't mind getting up and mime a song either, at least when the time is right. Children love to move around and stretch, and definitely I do that in my classroom. Depending on the activity, movement is great. Movement promotes circulation. Movement drives away restlessness. Caution here, be sure to use music fit for Sabbath school. Teaching children with disability, which is my specialty. Let us not forget that they are all God's children. They are unique and they learn in a unique way. Because the disabilities vary, there are varying ways to reach them. Therefore, what teachers need to do are to employ all the learning styles and find ways to engage them. Learning styles. Finally, learning styles are not meant to predict behavior, attitudes, or result, but they tell us those learners learn in different ways and have varied needs. It is important to respect each child's learning style and tailor your teaching to those styles. Employ the methods Jesus used in teaching so that children will be more interested in studying the Bible and learning about Jesus and his plan of salvation. Learners will be happy if at least one activity per class presentation appeals to their learning style. I've come to the end. I hope you have learned something. And teachers, please don't hesitate to employ all your learning styles, because you never know which child you will reach by employing all of them. And what you do not want to do is to have a child leave Sabbath school not satisfied because you did not tap into his or her learning style. So because you do not know which learning style that child possesses, please remember to employ all. Have a blessed day. Thank you.